Hi, my name is Red Cross, and today I'm going to be going over my impressions and thoughts on the state of Holy Priest going into 11.1. I've been playing Priest for like 12 years, and I've been playing the PTR for a couple weeks now. Done several dungeons, and I finally read through all the forum posts to try to figure out what other people had issues with. So without further ado, let's get into it. The big problems with Holy Priest, there's four of them, and right now I'm going over um, this information here. We don't have a kick, we only have Chastise and Fear. We have clunky group heal buttons, specifically Oracle. People claim mobility is a big issue. I think that's probably something that is supposed to be one of Priest's weaknesses, so I don't really if you really are having mobility problems, I'd say just switch to Goblin. We have limited utility outside of Mind Soothe and Mass Dispel. We don't have much in terms of CC. We're missing a lot of other stuff. And then the last issue a lot of people were having was mana issues, um, and feeling forced to take the 10% mana reduction talent. I've come up with a couple of changes that I think would help the situation overall. That stuff over here. Um, so Symbol of Hope, the last time Holy Priest was viable in dungeons was when Symbol of Hope was before the nerf. So when it gave 60 seconds of CDR, which is enough for an extra personal on a boss encounter. Um, and outside of, if you're an Archon Priest, that's one of your only external uh, save me buttons that you have is to give people back their own defensive so they can save themselves. If they could just make it 60-second CDR in dungeons, it still would be balanced. I don't think it was unbalanced in dungeons when that was the case. It just was overpowered in raid, and that's why a lot of the changes happened to Holy Priest. So the second one I wanted to go over is Premonition of Piety. I think if they make this one change, Oracle Priest would become the better hero talent for certain dungeons. So a dungeon where there is a big massive AoE healing that lasts 10 or 12 seconds, this could really help the priest because in a higher level dungeon, what happens is uh, you put your overheal premonition of piety on, then you put your other premonition of shielding on yourself, and that'll give you a little bit of a buffer. And you might also need to use guardian spirit just to be able to keep up with the throughput in certain search situations. But you want the shield, and what happens on higher keys is the damage is so much to you that it's reducing a percentage as you get higher and higher. You go down, maybe on a level 5, you go down to 85% health, but on a level 10, you go down to 60% health, and then on a level 15, you go down to 20% health. So that means on a 15, 80% of your splash healing is being wasted because you're not at max health, and so you're not triggering the overheal protection. I don't really understand why um, Holy Priest overheal protection works like this when a shaman, all of their healing goes into Cloudburst and overhealing. So they're not wasting uh, Cloudburst when people are not topped. So the I really struggle to understand why it's not just all healing and it's just splash healing. So another problem with this is it kind of involves some degenerate gameplay. So it really highly incentivizes you to have a holy paladin and or not a holy paladin, a prot paladin. And if you have a prot paladin, then you can put this blessing of protection on yourself, and you'll take 0 damage, magic damage during the time. So for a boss that does heavy magic AoE damage, you can get the prot paladin to help you, but it almost puts you into that niche where you require it. And if you don't have a prot paladin, then there is always the option to have the shield trinket and use it on yourself so that you absorb 500,000 health, and then you have that buffer to continue to push the health bars up with your overhealing while you're still topped because you have a massive shield on. All of this combined just means that Premonition of Piety is really, really, really complicated to use, and it requires you to either contribute a trinket, guardian spirit, or get a buff from a paladin. So this is the number one change I want to see because if they make this change, I think Oracle will be viable. If you look currently, Oracle is the rank 5 Holy Priest is 3.3k, and he is considerably lower than the top 4 priests by a couple hundred points. So it does seem like Oracle might cap out at the level 16 level because of the limitations behind your main source of AoE healing, which is Premonition of Piety. That is the biggest issue with Oracle Priest, and if they fix that, I think it would make it so it is optimal to run Oracle in certain dungeon where Halo is not enough to get you through it. Anyways, let's move on. Now, I just got a couple of things that are pretty simple and quality of life changes. So if they'd make Imperial Blaze stack up to 4 times, that'd be kind of cool. Because then you could chastise, get 2 stacks. Then you cast apotheosis, you'd chastise again, and then you'd have 4 stacks. So then you could 3 times in a row holy fire, and then chastise again. Then you'd have 2 more. So that's 4, 5, 6. So you get 6 globals in a row if that would go up to 4 stacks, which would be nice. And then another change is Prayer of Mending. I really think it should stack up to 21 times. It used to be you applied 5 Prayer of Mendings and it could stack up to 10. And then Blizzard realized, oh, uh, that's not enough. People are overwriting their Prayer of Mendings, and they're being wasted, right? So they changed it to 15. So that was 3 casts that you could have on the same target without overcapping, and that was really, really nice. Now with it stacking up to 7 times, then and only going up to 14 stacks for some weird reason, if somebody's at 10 stacks and you cast Prayer of Mending on them, then you're wasting three of your you're wasting like half of your Prayer of Mendings with that cast. So it it kind of incentivizes you to um, target people with the lowest stacks, and which is it's okay gameplay. Um, and that gameplay would still exist if it stacked up to 21 times because you don't want it to get too high, but you wouldn't run into wasting, over the course of the dungeon. If you override it like 10% of the time, then you're wasting, 3, 4, 5% of the healing. I don't know. So that's a bit of an issue. And then let's go over the bug that I found in the beta. So with Premonition of Insight, you're supposed to get 3 casts in a row that get reduced cooldown. Um, when you there's a new talent called Empowered Renew, which is this one in the middle here, which makes your renew have a 12-second cooldown. So the problem in beta is so we'll trigger Premonition of Insight, and we should be getting CDR if we cast that, but no, it's full duration, and it eats the proc. So it actually ate the proc, but did not give it CDR. So let's look at it again at the top of the screen right here. You see it's got 3 seconds left. So that is a bit of an issue, especially because it eats the proc. Like if it didn't eat the proc, that would be one thing, but it definitely eats the proc. So the final change, which should help with the utility issues that at least the CC issues priests have. If they did something with Psychic Scream to make it a little bit more on par with Capacitor Totem or other things, that would be nice. I don't really expect that. Honestly, I think they like priests just relying on the group to control the mobs, and that's just the way it is. So those are my thoughts on Holy Priest for the next patch, and we'll see how it goes. So, but Blizzard, please fix Premonition of Piety so that it's actually useful at higher level keys, so that Holy does have a solution if Halo Archon is not enough for a specific dungeon, and I would be eternally grateful. Oh, if you like this video, please give a subscription. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers and grow the channel. I'm going to continue to make guides in the following seasons. Um, I'm sorry about not playing so much this season. I had real life stuff going on, and I had to deal with that, and I couldn't just handle also committing to play WoW. So, but things have settled down, and I'm back.